How is everybody doing on this beautiful Thursday morning? Welcome to today's edition of Cubs Daily. My name is Stephen Ryan, presented by Fan Arts. The Chicago Cubs are going back to the postseason, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a long time coming. I'm excited that we are at this point. I'm excited that, postseason baseball is near. I'm so happy that this pressure is, off of our shoulders now. We can start building towards something very, very special. Was thinking about it a lot today, right, as we clinched in the postseason, right? We're going to bare minimum at least get a wild card. We sit 5 back of the Brewers in the division. Odds are we won't catch them, but honestly, ladies and gentlemen, this is okay in my opinion, because hear me out. So, you kind of got to think about the parallels between these two rebuilds, right? The Cubs before 2010, they were ran by the Tribune, Jim Henry. It was a interesting show going on back then. Theo comes in to town, and things definitely change. He says, hey, it's going to be a struggle these first few seasons, okay? 11 through 14, the Cubs, absolutely brutal. Close to 100 losses, or over 100 losses those first 2 seasons, and then we kind of got a little bit better the third season, and then that 2014 season. We did struggle immensely in the first half, but they played a little bit better in the second half, right? They were closer to 500. They started competing more, right? Jorge Soler came onto the scene. Javi Baez was getting more experience. Rizzo, etc., etc. Then 2015 came, okay? 2015, the Cubs make the wild card, face the Pirates, beat the 100-win division rival St. Louis Cardinals, get swept in the NLCS. 2016 World Series, and then for the rest of the decade, the Cubs generally went to the postseason. There was a blown September one that made a wild card appearance, and then 2019 it was a collapse. 2020 it was a COVID shortened season. So the last 3 years or so, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020, the Cubs made the postseason. What if I asked you, would you take that all over again? Let me know in the comments down below. Would you take that all over again? In my opinion, because I'm just saying we're kind of on that trajectory over here, okay? First few seasons of this decade, not so great, right? And honestly, this rebuild was much shorter, ladies and gentlemen. It was much shorter in my opinion, okay? Because the 2010 Cubs were not even a playoff team. The 2020 Cubs were a playoff team. The 21 Cubs, they battled, but they just weren't that good anymore. And so that was when the decision was made to trade everybody. So for the rest of 21, we sucked. And then all of 22, we sucked. But then 23 came, right? We got Dansby Swanson on the squad, right? We started making, some more big-time moves. Justin Steele came up. He started developing, right? We won 83 games. And then obviously in 24, we won 83 games again. That is a significant improvement in terms of what the previous rebuild was, right? That's a big time move in my opinion. And then we're right back here again, right? 2025 wild card berth, bare minimum, right? We take out the Padres. I think we could beat the Padres, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not very convinced about them whatsoever. And then we face the probably MLB best record and division leading Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, to the script itself, it's almost cinema what might happen here. So I don't know. I'm a hopeful. I can't help that in myself. So postseason bound, happy to be back. I'm ready to sweat out these games. It's gonna be a good time. I know the comments are gonna be like, first round exit. This team is playing well. This team is playing really, really well, and I'm kind of excited to see how far they can take this. So yeah. Cubs finish off the sweep today. That's what allowed that postseason berth to be clinched. It was a good all-around ball game. The Cubs jumped out 4-0 early on, man. Michael Busch, he got on, drew a walk. He was down 0-2 in that AB, by the way. Drew the walk, and then Nico obviously laced a single. And then, what was it? Then it was they had a wild pitch in there. Michael Busch got to third. Then there was a balk. That's how he scored. And then you have 2-run bomb. Made it 3-0. Moises Ballesteros, 4-0. And then Matt Boyd, who just has not been sharp here recently, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, they saw the graphic before the game. I think it's like his last 5 starts. He's got like a 5.97 ERA. It's not all peaches and roses on the Matt Boyd front. It is a concern for this Cub fan right here. That's why I'm thinking Cade Horton Shota got to go 1-2. And then if you want to throw Matthew Boyd 3 because, he was the all-star, you want to give him the nod, fine. But he needs a short leash with Jamison Tyone. You need to pair that combo up and kind of play the matchup. There was also a comment earlier in the day made on the radio where they say, hey, you should, start Boyd in game 1. But super short leash. Once they load the lineup with right-handed batters, which if it's the Padres, right, you're kind of thinking Tatis, Machado, et cetera, that's when you bring Cade Horton in. And maybe he can affect that lineup that way as well. He'll also skip facing that top part of the order. That's a risky play in my opinion, but it was an idea suggested by by someone on the, I think it was JD in the booth. So I thought about it. I'm not necessarily sure of it. I say Cade Horton needs to get the nod here in game 1 of the wild card matchup. But in regards to this game, Matt Boyd not sharp. He almost gave up the lead right back. 4-3. They scored 3 in the bottom of the first, and then they tied it an inning or two later. So it was 4-4 for the next few innings after that. Matt Boyd, he battled, but he had a short leash. And then the offense, just kept battling, kept plucking away, and they were able to tack on 4 more runs. Ian Happ had an RBI. I know Dansby Swanson is continuing to hit well. He's priming for October as well. So, I don't know. This team is, we're not going down anymore. We are definitely going right back up to where we close to were. And, it's exciting to watch, right? And we're doing this all without Kyle Tucker, which is crazy in my opinion. And we're going to talk about him right here. We got an injury update on Kyle Tucker. He was supposed to come off the IL on Tuesday, but unfortunately there's just been setbacks. He's been hitting, he's been doing everything he can do but running. Running is what is giving him trouble in his calf. And so he's gotten permission from the Cubs. There's a Cubs staffer with him. He's going back to Tampa, that's where he's from, to go to his medical team, the same medical team that helped him with his, I believe it was a shin last year with the Astros. So he's going back to the same medical team. Hopefully they can just kind of get some more answers on this situation and, fully figure it out with him. Because the time is a-ticking, right? I'm okay. Craig Counsell did say earlier he's going to be, if he's coming back, he's going to be back next series. He's not going to play in Cincinnati. And again, we have the wild card. So we'd like to keep the pressure on the Brewers. But again, this is a time that we need to, play and get healthy as well. So Kyle Tucker's not going to be back until at least the next homestand. And so, where does he fit in? Does he take away from what else is developing here on this team, man? There's a lot of questions to be asked. Does he help supplement this lineup, right? Because if this lineup is performing the way it's performing now, and then Kyle Tucker figures it out, we are actually going to be tough to beat in October. I'm not trying to be just the super biased. I'm talking about from a baseball standpoint. We might not be better on paper than teams that are there. I'm not going to debate you on that. But we're battling. We battle. We find ways to win games. This team can play. This team can play really well. Have they not played well? Yes, absolutely. We've seen it. But over the course of 162, it's just going to happen. So, I don't know. Not good news to see this for Tucker. But, again, fingers crossed he just gets all right. Because we are going to need him in October. He provides that pop that this team desperately needs. So, all right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the last 4 road games of the regular season. We are going to be in Cincinnati, which is absolutely a fantastic venue to continue this hot hitting that we had, right? So I did see some Cubs probables earlier, and here it is from Andy Martinez, our main man. So Thursday we're gonna have Colin Ray going. Colin Ray, man, what this guy has done has just been absolutely incredible, and honestly, he should be in discussion for that third starting pitcher spot. I'm telling you, he has pitched in some games and won some games, man. Plus, for some whatever weird reason, our offense absolutely pops off whenever he's pitching. So maybe that just might be the spark we need, We got our ace, Shota, going on Friday. Javier Sai going back on it on Saturday. And then Jamison Tyon's going to be rounding us out in Sunday. Same reason they don't rest Tyone is because he's trying to ramping back up. He's trying to get back into conditioning as much as he possibly can. I imagine Tyone's only going to get those 2 more starts, and then, Curious to see if they use him in the wild card roster, right? It's a 3-game set, different format, probably 1 or 2 less pitchers on the rotation. So curious to see what they do with him in that situation. So those are our pitching probables. Seiya Suzuki was back in the lineup today for the Cubs. Again, 10 hits. We did really, really well. Let's take a look here at the box score. Again, his first game back, I can't expect too much. Yeah, he was 0 for 3. Didn't do too well, but Moises Ballesteros, like, keep giving this kid the ball. I want to keep seeing him hit. He's exciting to watch. So I'm excited to watch this team just continue to compete on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this 2025 season, and all of you should as well. This team is really good. It's a lot of fun, and the postseason should be celebrated. If you're going to come in the chat and be like, yeah, the division standard, I get it. But just remember the last Cubs team started with a wild card berth too. Sometimes it's symbolic to take the division, because here's the deal: if we match up with the Padres, we're gonna beat the Padres, and then we're gonna face the Brewers in the NLDS. They have been the king of this division for the past 7 years. For the past 7 years. Time to take it from them. You know what I mean? So let's get it done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it today. I hope you all have a fantastic Thursday, and I'll see you in the next one.